So then, after just over a week of playing Siege of Shanghai, we are still playing Siege of Shanghai, but a new game mode is now available for us in the form of Obliteration. I think a lot of us knew it was coming because it was listed on battle logs, so it wasn't so much of a surprise. But I think a lot of us, including myself, were half expecting it to come alongside Paracel Storm, maybe as a second map later in the beta. Maybe that will still happen, maybe it won't. We'll just have to wait and see. I'm probably now leaning on the fact that it won't happen, but we can hope. We can hope. Either way, I had the chance to play Obliteration for quite a few hours this morning, and so far, yeah, I enjoyed it. There are some noticeable things, though, that I want to bring up. Firstly, you really have to have a good team to be successful in this game mode. It really relies on players knowing what to do. I found a massive amount of players that were just running around aimlessly, and even people carrying the bomb but going in the wrong direction. Of course, I do have to remember this is a beta on a brand new game mode, so people will still be finding their feet and learning the new game mode. I have to take that into account. I also have to take into account that it's in open beta now, so there's new people joining every day. Some maybe that are still learning the map itself. And I do take all that on board, but it's just something I've noticed just from playing for a couple of hours. So what is Obliteration? Well, it's a fairly simple game mode, really. It kind of blends almost capture the flag, domination, demolition. It blends a lot of game modes together. Effectively, on one side of the river, I'm going to call it, or the water, there is 3 objectives. And on the other side, there is another 3. 3 of them are owned by your team, 3 of them are owned by the enemy team. Somewhere in the middle of the map, a bomb will spawn, randomly. The objective is for your team, and of course the enemy team, to capture this bomb and take it to one of the opposing team's objectives and destroy it. The game is won when one team has destroyed all the enemy's objectives. Now it sounds straightforward enough, but it really isn't. The bomb kind of drops usually by the tower, I've found so far. The problem is that the bomb is displayed on the HUD and on the minimap, and so the enemy really does know where it is, as do your team. When you pick the bomb up, it tells the enemy exactly where that bomb is, so you can't just hide it. You can't just hide the flag away somewhere like you would on Capture the Flag or something like that. Likewise, if you're just going to try and run across the map with this bomb, it isn't really going to work. You can't just hide in a building because you've got a big marker above your head. So far, the best course of action that I have found is taking a vehicle, namely a chopper. The chopper is the best route to get to these objectives. Now, there is another route which I'll talk about in a minute. The tanks are also it's a good way to take a tank. The problem I have found is if the enemy knows that this bomb is in a tank, they will rain hell on it with RPGs. But vehicles are definitely a necessity, I think, in this game mode, so you can get to the objective fast. And that's the objective. You want to get there as fast as you can to not give the enemy a chance and for them not to catch up with you. The bomb timer is very, very small. Literally, I haven't counted it, but it's probably about 10 seconds, maybe 10 or 12 seconds, if that. So once you get the bomb down, there's a good chance it's going to explode. Now, choppers aren't the only way of getting to a flag quite successfully, and this was a tactic that I noticed a lot of people using already from the get-go, and it kind of benefits from the tall buildings that are in Shanghai. What people were doing is they were regularly taking the bomb, even somewhat the wrong way, if you like, and going up in a lift to the top of a building, not even necessarily the skyscraper, but the skyscraper as well, and then parachuting onto the objectives. You know, if you could get to the skyscraper, for instance, if the bomb was randomly spawned in front of the skyscraper, if you have the chance to run in, and I did this as well, if you run in, jump in the lift, go straight to the top, and then straight away parachute off, then you can land pretty much straight on an objective. There are downsides to it, of course. You are kind of a sitting duck when parachuting, but if you can get there fast, so I'm talking about jumping down, drop your parachute at the very last moment you can, then press forward when your parachute is open so that you descend quicker, and then just generally try to get on the ground as fast as you can and as close to the objective as you can. And that was a tactic that I and a lot of other people used, and it really did seem to work for the most part. Now, it's not going to work for every map. because this map, of course, benefits from really high buildings and skyscrapers. There is a deployment option on this mode to come in by parachute, but that will only help you when you're deploying into the game. It won't, of course, help you when you have the bomb. So this tactic is only really applicable to this map. We don't really know what the sort of height levels and buildings are going to be on other maps, so we can't really call it just yet. But on this map, if you can get to the top of the buildings and parachute down, that covers a lot of distance really fast. The fact that this map in particular has a skyscraper that comes down due to levolution also hinders that tactic somewhat as well. People are still bringing down the skyscraper even though it has no real effect on the concept of the game mode, apart from, of course, people going to the top and jumping off. What it did also mean, though, was that after the skyscraper was down and the level was filled with dust, it was a lot harder to see players parachuting in and around the map, and to see choppers in the air as well. Personally, I didn't really enjoy this game mode after the skyscraper was down. I found it far more fun and entertaining when it was still up. Overall though, I still really enjoyed it. It's definitely a game mode that I will play again, and I'm really interested to see how it pans out on the other maps, because I think it will play very differently. On a last and final note, I just want to say that I know DICE are working on some FPS fixes for Windows 7. For those of you who don't know, right now, the best way to play Battlefield 4 lag-free is actually on Windows 8, because they are optimized for DirectX 11.1. They are working on a fix, though, to make DirectX 9 and 10, I guess it'll be on Windows 7, work a lot smoother, so bear with them. But if you have the option to upgrade to Windows 8, I know a lot of people have held off. I am one of those people, but trust me, when I upgraded it and played Battlefield 4, it was so much smoother than on Windows 7, so check it out. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.